So I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash, and double honor to the elder apostles of the great millstone that have taught me this truth, and to include the elder bishops on down, and Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Barakatham, to all of the brothers throughout the four corners of the planet Earth, and it's your brother Labanus. We ought to believe that we are of that number, the 144,000. So now let's begin, and I'm going to play this video of this Amalekite over here. Maybe he's not an Amalekite, because in this interview he expresses that what Israel has been doing, even as of lately with this war in Iran, he disagrees with it. But of course, the topic of discussion is the Palestinian people deserve to be in Palestine, which we back here, we disagree with that too. Because according to the Torah, as he's going to get into, we were given that land to begin with, going all the way back to the land being the promised land, originating with Abraham. Okay, so without further ado, because two of them nations don't belong to that land anyway. So anyway, let's play this video. I'm going to get more into it. Lord willing, this is going to be an edifying lesson as well.
We have to understand that according to the Torah, the state of Israel have no right to exist. Not only they have no right to go to wage wars on other countries like Gaza, Iran, and Lebanon and so on.
And he's right too, because when you check the Torah, as they call it, we can consider it the Torah too, the Old Testament. Isaiah chapter 2 basically reads that when the children of Israel are brought back to the Holy Land, also known as the Promised Land, however you want to say the land of promise, there ain't going to be no wars among these nations anymore. And so Israel is going to dwell in a peaceable habitation. All right. So that's number 2. So what we see currently ongoing right now is that the current people that are in that land don't stack up to that prophecy there. All right. Ever since 1948, we're talking about almost 80 years now. There's been wars between them two, them so-called Palestinians and them so-called Israelis. There's been an ongoing, ongoing problems. And it's not going to stop, because, as well as I've said already, they don't belong in that land. No way. Both of their asses don't belong there. So let me continue to play some more, and I'm going to stop talking. And then I'm going to address these points, man.
So as you can understand, in today's day, Jewish people have no right to rule the land, even not 1 inch of any land. And
yeah, he's wrong about that, man. He's wrong about that. Because when you go into, again, the Torah, when you go and read the Old Testament, it actually tells you that we're going to have even Lebanon. I'm not going to go into it, but when you go and read what Abraham had to go through, he had to pretty much travel through these different regions in these areas. So he said, the Lord told him, he said, look, as far as your eyes can see, this is going to be the land of promise. This is going to be where your descendants are going to be. All right. And not only are we going to have Lebanon, but also the land of Havilah, basically the Fertile Crescent, that whole area which we consider the Fertile Crescent. That's going to be those regions that will be possessed by the Israelites. All right.
Even not in the Holy Land. The Holy Land in today's day, according to the Torah, it belongs to the Palestinian in full. Not a two-state, and not all of this.
Zechariah 12 and verse 1, as this reads, the burden of the word of the Lord Yahweh for Israel, save the Lord Yahweh, which stretched forth the heavens and layeth the foundation of the earth in form of the spirit of man within him. Yes, Salaki, I gotta check something real quick. Right, okay. And he laid the foundation of the earth and formed the spirit of man within him. And here's the point. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about. And I just want to address this point here in this precept, is the fact that ever since, like I've mentioned, there's been problems among those two nations. Okay. And that's the reason why he's talking about what he's talking about with this problem, which has been ongoing since the 7th of October 2 years ago. And it's going to just continue. Okay. Right now, Israel is at war with Iran and stuff like that. But I can guarantee you this for free. Let's just say this thing dies down. They're going to go back to afflicting those people over there. Okay.
To the Palestinians in full. Could be the Jewish people can live there under a Palestinian government, like Jewish people living today in Iran. Even under the war, they have no problem with Jews. They have a problem with occupiers. They have a problem with a genocide. They have no problem with Jews. The same thing, we can live as peaceful citizens even in Palestine. But
and they can't live in peace, because Esau doesn't want for peace. Esau is about destruction, as well as it's written in the book of John chapter 10 and 10, that the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. So there you go. Esau is the thief of the planet Earth. Okay, and he's ruling with the sword, and he's gotten away with ruling with the sword by taking and stealing, by ill-gotten gain. And so he's going to continue on that path. And the ultimate reason why that's even the case is as a result that these devils are not satisfied with their portion. And I'm going to get into that later on. All right, but they're going to destroy until they destroy themselves. That's going to be the end result of all of this destruction that they've waged on the planet Earth, and especially against the lost people. That's going to be paid for too. You best believe that.
the whole land, the government should go back to the Palestinians in full, and all the Palestinian refugees should come back, and they should get back their homes in the villages like it was before. This is according to the Torah. And this is even the Zionists took the land freely, without any wars, without free land.
And I kind of see what he was referring to when he said that the people in Palestine deserve to be there, right? I kind of get where he's coming from now. He's referring to Deuteronomy 28, where it mentions not 28 but 32 and 8, and other precepts where it actually speaks about not removing the old landmark. But again, as I say, the people in Palestine don't belong there, as well as they don't belong there. That's our landmark that they've pretty much taken. Okay? So what I will do is I will read Deuteronomy. Let me see what I could do. Yeah, Deuteronomy 32 and verse 8, which is over here, as this reads, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam and he set the bounds, in other words, the lands of the people, according to the number of the children of Israel. Now, when the Most High delivers us and raises us up with having great power, immortal power, this is what's going to happen. Of course, as it is written, we're going to captivate those which have captivated us, and we're going to rule over our oppressors. But it also reads this too. And I'm going to get to the point. I'll tell you what, let me read the first verse, as this reads over here. For the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So that's referring to the Israelites that will be scattered among the heathen, that will be estranged, as well as the Apostle Paul in the New Testament. And I begin, and if I'm correct, excuse me, I was going to say it the wrong way. Oh boy. So if I begin in the New Testament, when you had the term Gentile being first used. So let me read this now. This is Isaiah 14 and verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them. and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So who are they which will cleave? The strangers that are which will cleave to the house of Jacob. These are referring to Israelites that were estranged from out of the land, that became likened unto the actual other nations. This is why in the New Testament, if I'm correct, when you had the Apostle Peter, which he was the first apostle, if I'm correct, but the Most High was dealing with Paul on his apostleship and what have you, and dealing with these individuals, or not individuals, but these groups or portions of people that were Israelites that were out of the land of Israel. Okay, and that's why they were known as what? Gentiles. And this is where the Christians get confused. They believe that, oh, the Lord came with a new and living way, that now, rather than it being the old way where the Lord have only chose Israel, now it's basically for everybody, you know, and that's pretty much tying into this, what you would call it, something that Vocab Malone was talking about, if I'm correct, replacement theology, something along those lines, right? Which that's all bullshit, because again, there's no scripture which substantiates replacement theology. Replacement theology is something that's made up just so that the Christians can be substantial on their point of view addressing the Israelites. All right, so even when you read the New Testament, it's basically the same thing but reformed in a different way. Okay. And as well as, just to mention too, when Moses spoke to the children of Israel in the book of Deuteronomy, he told them about the curses in chapter 28 to be exact. He said that, look, you're going to be scattered on towards the four corners, and in these places you will have no rest. If I'm correct, it's verse 64 to be exact. I'm roughly paraphrasing a little bit, but that's where it's at. So those are the people that Paul went to encounter, especially they which were conquered by the ancient Greeks. You want to talk about Antiochus Epiphanes IV, which it was through him and his soldiers, which I believe they were, some of them were Syrians, that were responsible in the taking down of Jerusalem. Okay, so those people which became Hellenized, or you can say, you can consider them to be even, you can even use the word, but you can even use the word colonized to being Greeks. All right, and as well as you can even use the word colonized, because that's what they were. They were colonized people that became Greeks, and that's who Paul went to go talk to bring them back to the Lord, because they were of the same elk, they were of the same genus. All right, which means beginnings or origins. They descend back to Abraham. That's why Paul brought up Abraham. Why did he bring up Abraham? Because they were the stock of Abraham. I don't mean to go too far into that, but I just wanted to just make this point. Salakia for not simplifying it, man. Salakia about that. This is Isaiah 14 and verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel, and there's the main point that I wanted to make. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So we're going to take these nations and bring them to their place. So everything's going to go right back to what it was before. Because even these other nations are scattered too. All right. So the nations are going to be brought back to their land as well. So we're going to be brought back to our land, and they're going to be brought back. We're going to bring them back to their land. Now you have some nations that stayed in their land for millenniums. Okay. Just to mention. Yeah, so that's all I got to read from here, man. That's it. So let me see if I can play a little bit more in this video here.
Especially when they're doing that on the head of Palestinian people by killing them and exiling them from the land. This doubles and triples the crimes much, much more. In the Torah it's written in the Ten Commandments, don't kill, don't steal. This is exactly what the Zion is doing.
Yeah, because they're the devil that the Bible speaks about. That's why they're doing that. And the thing of it is in the power of their hand. Again, let's read this. The thief cometh not for to, I don't think I've read this, but maybe I did, but I'll read it again just in case. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy, and I am come that they might have life. Yeah, I've read this already. And that they might have it more abundantly. Yeah. So that's just the spirit of them. They're gonna continue to do it until they end up destroying themselves. Because it's gonna happen regardless anyway. They can't stop it. Even if they wanted to stop it, they can't stop it. Their ill ways. It's all in them. It's the Most High has pretty much given them the instruction to do what they think that they're willing to do, but it's really the will of the Lord that's going to be brought to pass, and that they're doing what they're doing, so that eventually we, as the Israelites, get to rule the planet Earth by their own destruction, and as well as them bringing back the Lord's return, as well as they believe that if they could continue to do what they're doing in the land of the East, they can bring the Messiah's return. But when the Messiah makes a second return, what is that going to do? That's going to pretty much eradicate this system, which they believe that if they continue to rupture the East the way that they're doing it, then the Messiah will return. But the Messiah's return is going to pretty much reform the real Israelites and establish them as the kings and the priests of the earth. All right. And the way that the Lord is going to return on this earth, he's going to return as not as a man, but as an angelic power. All right. As well as this written, I will not meet thee as a man. Okay. So when he comes back, he's going to come back as an angelic source to destroy this system. And that's thus saith the Lord. Point blank in the story.
So, of course, in today's day, according to the Torah, the whole land should go back to the Palestinians in full. Even in Israel, you have hundreds of thousands of anti-Zionist Jews, strong anti-Zionist Jews. They don't serve in the army. Today, as we speak, yes?
And he's one of them too. And you know too, I think as well, another reason why they're anti-Z, because they don't really want to join forces in fighting. They don't want to go to war. You know, you got a lot of them that are leaving that land. And that's another thing too. Again, if these are the people of the Most High, they should be situated in that land right now in peace. Why is it that they have to run out of the land when they're supposed to be in the land still, dwelling in peace? So do you really think when the Israelites return back to the land, let's just include us now because we know it's us already. Let's just get real now. When we return back to the land, ain't nothing going to have us run out of that land. There's no one that's going to be had within Israel that's going to scare the people of Israel. And I'm talking about our people in this case. There ain't going to be an oppressive rulership that's going to force our people to pretty much remove from out of the land and live somewhere else. That's not going to happen. From top to bottom, we're all going to be in sync serving Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. We're going to do justice unto our own and among our own, and as well as when the hardcore slavery has been settled, we're even going to be just towards these other nations too. All right. So we ain't going to be ruling like how Esau ruled, with ego and pride and becoming a tyrant and ruling oppressively. As well as it's written that the meek shall inherit the earth. And who are the meek? The meek are the real Israelites, which we are. Okay? And we're going to rule in justice. We're going to apply the laws and the statutes and the commandments thereon, because those things are going to be in us. Thanks be to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua for establishing the new covenant.
You have 55,000 of Ayot, but they refused to go to the army. Our rabbis told them better go to prison.
Exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. I just said that, and that's why he's talking about this situation. So he wants to. So you got these guys. They want to clear their names, man. They want to clear their names because they know hell is coming for their asses now. Anyway, let me read this, man. Let me go and read this. This is Genesis 36. Let's go all the way up here in verse 39. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. And the reason why I'm reading this because he mentioned that Benjamin Netanyahu, his prime minister, is acting as though he's Amalek, because the truth is they are the Amalekites, which are the descendants of Esau and Edom. These are the names of Esau's son: Eliphaz, the son of Adah, the wife of Esau, and Ruel, the son of Bashemath, the wife of Esau. And the son of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, and Gatam, and Kenaz. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. And these were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. Now let's read about Amalek and what they did to the children of Israel. Because as we know, the history, when the Israelites were passing from out of the wilderness of sin, they went to Rephidim. They went and pitched in Rephidim, and that's where the war begun with Amalek, which they started. So let's get into it. And all of the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness. This is Exodus 17:1. After they journeyed according to the commandment of the Lord, and pitched in Rephidim, and there was no water for the people to drink. And wherefore the people did chide with Moses, and said, Give us water, that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, Why chide ye with me? Wherefore do ye tempt the Lord Yahweh? And the people thirsted, and they were for water. And the people murmured against Moses, and said, Wherefore is this, that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt, to kill us, and our children, and our cattle with thirst? So the children of Israel were giving Moses a hard time. And I mean, typically the majority of the Israelites lacked faith, as it is yet this day have no faith. So they couldn't bear the experience of being famished. They couldn't deal with it. All right? Because their strength wasn't so. So they lost faith. So as this reason, the Lord said unto Moses, Go on before the people, and take with thee of the elders of Israel, and thy rod, wherewith thou smotest the river, and take in thine hand, and go. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. And he called the name of the place Massah Meribah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord Yahweh, saying, Is this the Lord among us or not? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this short, and I'll come back again. Shalom. Because I got to do something real quick. Where was I? Not Genesis. I was in Exodus 17. And here's the point right here concerning Amalek, right? Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim. And Moses said unto Joshua, Choose us out men, and go out and fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of the Most High in mine hand. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him, and fought with Amalek. And Moses and Aaron and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass, when Moses held up his hand, that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on the other side, and the other on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. So if I'm reading this correctly, Aaron and Hur from both sides of Moses held up his hand so that they can prevail. Because when he had put his hand down, Amalek prevailed. Okay, let's read all the way down to verse 13. And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua. For I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under the heaven. And Moses built an altar, and called the name of it Jehovah Nisi, which means the sign of the Most High. Yahweh Nasa or Nas, which means sign. Nasa means sign or Nas means sign, and we know that the term Jehovah is really Yahweh. For he said, because the Lord have sworn that the Lord Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So there you go. And as well as it's written that Amalek is going to be pretty much done away with, and that's really going to take place on Obadiah. All right, that's going to take place, excuse me, I said on Obadiah. It's going to take place in the kingdom, and they're going to be Obadiah 1 and 18, if you know what I mean, without me having to read that. All right, so speaking of Obadiah, I want to read this too. He mentioned as well that them Jays over there in the land, they would pretty much, if possible, kill as much people as they would like to, just so that they can get their way. And he's really referring to disease in this case, you know. But just like I said earlier before, you got a lot of these cats, just like him, that's just out there expressing their sentiment about what they don't like with what's going on with Israel, is so that they can clear their name. And that's just my personal opinion. That's my own perspective and view. Okay, because now it's getting down to the nitty gritty. It's starting to get serious, and they don't want to join forces and fight with these Iranians or any other people for that matter. They weren't built like that. Okay, although they have the Torah and the Tanakh and the prophets and all of that stuff, they don't really believe in that, because all of that stuff doesn't apply to them anyway. You know, they rehearse it, they practice it, but it doesn't mean that they generally have a spiritual connection with the Bible or with anything in relation with the Torah, what have you, and as well as the Tanakh. You know, which with that you have the prophets and then all of that. You know, so they don't really believe, which is to be expected anyway. So as this reads, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how would they not have stolen until they have had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Right, because Esau is the type of nation which will take absolutely any and everything for their satisfaction, but yet still they will never be satisfied. All right, so they're going to keep doing what they're doing until they are destroyed. That's why this reads too, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So although Esau has as far as the eyes can see, and as far as the hearts can wish among men, yet they're still not satisfied with their portion, because what they're looking for when they go and take and steal and all of that with ill-gotten gain, they're doing that because they're looking for a sense of satisfaction. But as it is written, there is no peace unto the wicked, save the Lord. So there's a peace of mind that they're looking for after they get done doing what they have done. So they're going to keep doing this forever. And guess what? Eventually, their iniquity is going to backfire against them. And I want to read this as well. This is a scripture that I have on deck over here, which is in the book of Sirach 14 and verse 9. Had a bit of a brain freeze there, so lucky about that. A covetous man's eyes is not satisfied with his portion, and the iniquity of the wicked drive up his soul. There you go. And the iniquity of the wicked drive up his soul. So that's what I'm saying. So everything that Esau is doing, which is a multitude of sins against the Lord anyway, it's going to backfire against him. Once again, that's the only way I could really put it, man. And so you have this situation over here in Australia, where the skies immediately just turn is it translucent? Yeah, translucent red, I think, if I'm correct. Fluorescent, there you go. The word fluorescent comes to mind now. Fluorescent red, as you can see. Cyclone Lorella makes landfall in Australia. So I don't know if it's to do with something. Maybe this is a sign, or it could be Project Bluebeam, or we don't know. But this is a bit spooky. You know, this is strange to see. Just to be brief on this, because they want you to register and actually pay to read more of this right here. But yeah, I mean, that's all I pretty much got for this right here. I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Quadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the Great Millstone that have taught me this truth, and to include the elder bishops on down. And I'm out. Shalom.